Hello, hi everyone. Welcome this morning to our first Stella Live online session. With me this morning, I have Trinny Woodall, the founder, discussing our tips and tricks and favorite beauty products, along with answering your burning beauty questions. Before we get started, though, I wanted to go through some housekeeping with you. You will see the chat function on the right of your screen. Please submit any questions or comments there. We'll try to answer some of them at the end of the session if we've got time. Also, watch out for our pop-up discount offers. Some of the products we'll be sharing with you throughout the session. The format of the event will be a 20-minute discussion with Trinny and myself about ageless beauty and how to master the 5-minute face. Then we're going to bring on 4 lucky winners to join Trinny live on the camera at a time to ask Trinny beauty questions. Okay, let's. Just waiting for Trinny to join us. Trinny.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you see me?
I can see you. Morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. How are we today? This is very odd. It's very different from being at the Saatchi Gallery, but I'm going to imagine that amazing and fantastic Telegraph audience out there, one I feel closest to my heart, I have to say, of any newspaper.
Great. So we're going to get started, Trinny, to talk about, we thought we'd start with the secret to ageless beauty, in your opinion, and what your attitude is to looking ageless and your best version of yourself.
I mean, I think it all comes from in here.
Yeah.
And as much as the exterior is important to me, it's about if you feel you want to feel the best about yourself. And if you, to me, a lot of ageless beauty is about having a great energy.
Yeah.
And then that sort of pervades. So then whatever we put on our face and whatever products we're doing, we have the energy to do it. We want to do it. And we feel, you know, when I look in the mirror, I'm 56. And when I look in the mirror, I don't think I want to look younger.
No.
I think I want to be full of energy, so that on days when I feel tired, when I look in the mirror and I look tired, that does affect me more than, you know, if I was in my 20s and I, you know, had a late night and I looked in the mirror and I thought I was tired, it wouldn't necessarily make my whole body shattered.
Yeah.
But that does happen to me as I go down the path of life. So I need things I can do on the surface to also give me the energy inside.
Yeah, we get asked that question quite a lot, actually, how to look less tired, much more than we do about wrinkles or any of those surface aging concerns. So that's really interesting to hear. We thought also, you and I were discussing the other day about getting into a beauty rut and how to get out of it, because I think that's a question we get asked a lot, and I'm sure you do as well. So when, you know, over 40, or, you know, people tend to get stuck into a look that they've done when they were younger. They want to change it up, but they don't quite know where to start. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think what happens is I've always had this thought that men dress the same as when they felt they had the highest prowess in the bedroom, and they keep that style.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what men tend to do. Identify with any of your husbands. And I think what women do is when they found a look that made them feel for the first time in their life really confident, they stick with that because they still get the feeling from it. But what might be happening as we go down the path of life is that our face changes to an extent where that look, which worked incredibly well for us, maybe doesn't now.
Yeah.
And also we might not need that kind of makeup. So, you know, a classic example probably for me is base foundation. So some women wore a lot when they were younger because maybe they had acne or something they wanted to cover up, and then they kind of, you know, they go down the path of life and they continue to wear that base, but they maybe don't need to be covering up. That's something I think I see with women in their 30s and 40s, is the habit of the heavy base.
Yeah.
And then for women in their sort of 50s and 60s, you know, there was a time when it was all about mattification. You know, I started to do my makeup in the 80s, and then it was about bronzer, matte, black eyeliner.
Yeah.
And those habits on a 50 and 60-year-old woman take on a different feeling on the face, because you need, in my opinion, to show a slight glow, because that to me is the real sign of a healthy epidermis. And I kind of love, like, when people wear my BFF, which is this kind of like, you know, in the morning, this is what I'll do. Like, I'll take BFF because I want to take something that's a base and I'll put it on my skin and I'll get a little bit SPF 30, I'll get a bit of coverage, but I'm getting a slight glow.
And the BBF is like a
it's so different from what I used to do years ago, which was put something really matte.
Yeah.
And so it gives your face luminosity, and then people might come up to you and say, you know, have you changed your skincare routine? But in fact, you've just changed your base. So I think base is such an important one. So consider lighter bases. If you're somebody who maybe has been very attached to double wear, you know, maybe go to double wear light.
Yeah.
You know, less base actually can give a much better complexion. And even if you think perhaps you've developed rosacea, or you feel there's, you know, sometimes, you know, we can leave the spots behind, but then they come and hit us again during menopause. And then after that, you can have sort of redness and what might you consider to be rosacea. So there's other ways of dealing with that. But base, important. Yeah. Black eyeliner, I want to talk about for a second, because black eyeliner is something that's like, you know, do that moment and just do the line on the line. And I loved that look in the 80s, and I used to do it, and in the 90s. And then my eyes became a bit smaller. You know, there was a bit of a sort of, you know, there's a bit of a hanger of the curtain above. And so there wasn't that kind of wide-eyed, bushy-tailed look. So you have to then think, how can I make my eyes look bigger and wider? So when I do makeup, I just actually had just a neutral shade here. So when I do my makeup now, I might take something which is not an eyeliner. So I'm just going to take a brown shade, and I might just make, you know, that little eyeliner moment on my eye and just give myself a sense of a lined eye. So those people who've really been used to, you know, covering their eye top and bottom with an eyeliner, I'm doing it very muckily, but I want to show you something. You can consider going to a cream-based product, or you could go to a powder, but not necessarily a pencil. So it could be
that could be brown is softer than black.
I'm trying to redo it. Do you see that sort of?
Yeah.
My eyes kind of got smaller and smaller. So what I would say is, if you put down the pencil and pick up a makeup brush and use a cream-based product, and then blend it out. So I'm going to go from that hard line like that. Can you see that? And then I'm just going to really soften and soften and soften, and just get a smokiness to the eye, and then bring it up a bit. Just go back and forth, smoky, 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 smoky. And it's going to look really mucky, but I've got a trick for that. Because we can all feel, oh my God, how can I relearn again my makeup?
Yeah.
You know? But this is actually an easy thing to do. So I've got that there, and I've just, what?
I said it's all about small tweaks, isn't it? Doing the things you love, but just changing maybe the texture or the color a little bit.
Exactly right. And then this is the other trick is, so now I look slightly like I got a black eye. It's going to change up. But when you've done that look, you want to then lift your eyes. So what I do, I can do that with my finger a bit, but there's a tiny bit of our eye, which if we change it, I learned this from a lovely makeup artist called Ray Morris, which is like in this bit here.
Yes.
If there's, you want to kind of lift that. And at the moment, this is sort of going down. Do you see? Because we put our eye makeup on, it comes out a bit, and it kind of does this to our eye. So I'm going to take a little bit of cream concealer, and I'm just going to tap it like this around. I'm going to go into that little bit there where I need some help, and I'm going to just lift my eyes. So also, when you put concealer on, come right down, because we don't want the panda eye that we did with the Touche Éclat that we first bought. You know, that's another little trick we could go into, but I'm now going to go round here, and then I'm going to lift up and just make that lift on my eye. And it just gives you that slight sweep up. Do you see? I don't know if you can see it.
I can see it. It's like a halo around the eyes. It just, lift
Yeah,
your face.
so it's just softer.
Yeah, I love concealer. It's my favorite product because more concealer and less foundation is my motto.
I know, I agree. So those are little tricks that you can learn to do, but they will change your makeup. And so you could just, you know, it's always good to take stock and say, what have I done for more than 10 years? That's a really good thing. And think, okay, now how could I learn how to do that better? And there's lots of places you can learn. You can go on a YouTube and look at soft smoky eye makeup tutorials. You know, but don't feel that whatever your age is, it precludes you.
Yeah, I think that's a great piece of advice, because I think sometimes people think they have to redo or do a complete makeover, and actually all they need to do is switch up a few of the things they're already doing.
Exactly.
Well, one of the things I wanted to try and discuss with you before we bring on the winners was skincare, because I know that you are a skincare buff. You know, we've had this discussion, you know your vitamin C's from your retinol. And one of the questions we get asked a lot is about layering. How do I apply my skincare properly? And we sort of got into this the other day, and I think readers and viewers would love to hear how you apply your skincare and what you really need and what really works.
Well, I think you and I are asked very similar questions so often, and that is one of them. And what ought I layer, and what are the key things? So I think every woman should have in her routine a very good cleansing routine, a vitamin C, a retinol, and an SPF. I mean, I think that's, whatever your age, those to me are the four key things. And you can buy them very cheaply, or you can invest your money. And you can buy very cheap bad ones, but you can buy quite cheap good ones. So in order of prioritization, the key thing I think are really important to remember are, when you clean your skin, if you don't clean it right, you leave a little layer in your pore. And then you could have invested 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds in a serum. It won't go through. It won't do anything, because the pore has this sort of little layer on it and nothing will get through. So it's like you could have wasted all your money on that serum. So that's why cleansing your skin to me is really important. When I clean my skin, I do it twice, morning and the evening. So in the morning, I might just use a cleansing balm, because what happens overnight is when we sleep, and I remember some of you might know that lovely Eve Lom, but she used to do facials on me, and she would always say, she was Hungarian, Eve Lom. She was married to the Pink Panther baddie, Herbert Lom. And she would say, Trinny, the witch's brew comes up in the morning and you've got to take it off. So, you know, all the toxins come up. And if you just think a wet flannel will do it, you couldn't think that way. It might have worked for you for years. But doing a cleansing balm, and one I love is Jane Scrivener, which is a organic brand. She's a beautiful facialist and it's got a wonderful smell. And I think in the morning, I want to also have a little ritual of having a wonderful thing I inhale as a smell. That kind of matters to me. And then I will always, after that, I do this morning and night, I will then do a gel cleanser, because as much as that is a beautiful moment, you can massage your skin and you can do a little wakey up. So I do always these massages where I kind of lift my cheekbones, I pinch a bit, I kind of do a bit of lymphatic drainage. You know, if you've got puffiness, if you're the kind of person who sleeps and you get puffiness, you can do lymphatic drainage, and we can do that together in a minute, actually. So after that, I use a gel cleanser, and there are many gel cleansers on the market. There are some with gentle acids in them, which are things that kind of clean, I'd say they clean your epidermis quite well. And I love one, which is called Julia Hunter Maximal Strength Cleanser. She's an American dermatologist, but it has in it very gentle mandelic malic acids, and they just resurface your skin without damaging it. So
I just started doing that.
You cleaned your skin now, morning and night. So in the morning, I then go along and I probably do an exfoliating toner. Now this, in an old-fashioned regime, it might have been Clinique's 3-step, you know, that sort of cleanse, tone, polish. But toners, as we used to call them, have come a long way, and basically they've got to rename themselves, and they're called exfoliating toners. And it just is a way to exfoliate your skin without a granular exfoliation. So I love an exfoliating toner. And if you have very oily skin, you can choose from different ingredients But I would say if you have a slightly more mature skin, I would really avoid anything with salicylic or glycolic acid, and I would go for slightly softer ones. So you can look on the back, or you can read up, and I mean, I love reading ingredients. That's all right. Maybe I'm a buff, but if you know, I don't know if you
well,
do.
I do. I just started actually because Dr. Mariam Zamani told me to use an AHA toner, which is sort of hydrating at the same time, because I have quite sensitive skin. So I've always been a little bit wary about chemical toners, but in fact, I've started using the Ren AHA toner. And what I found is it just is sort of, I have a bit of patchy, well, you can't tell I look so pale, but I have a little bit of patchy tan. It just sort of evens out and creates this lovely smooth surface. Yeah, that's been a bit of a game changer for me.
I think if anyone has that dull skin, that's the thing that's going to do it. And there's also a very lovely one from Garden of Wisdom, which I think is brilliant, and it's azelaic acid. And azelaic acid is a very good acid if you have a sensitive skin.
Yes, or if you have blemishes, I think is quite good for.
If you have blemishes, but it just goes on, and this is in a little serum. I think there's a little hyaluronic in it, but you just put that on, and then you can. I put acids on before I put vitamin C. So if you do that, you know, I've added an extra dimension. So you clean your skin, and then you could put an exfoliating toner, kind of buff it up. And then you want vitamin C. Vitamin C to me is a key antioxidant. And there are so many vitamin C's out there. There's so many that do nothing. And I think you've got to really feel you get your money's worth. And so on the cheaper end of the market, I would say I do Garden of Wisdom, and they have two which I like. One of them is called Deep Sea. So their original one, which is a real dupe. If you want a dupe in life, SkinCeuticals to me is one of the best vitamin C's, but it's 120 bloody pounds. It's got ferulic in it, which is a sort of balancing acid. Garden of Wisdom is, I think, under 20 quid. It's 16 pounds maybe, and it's 23% with ferulic acid. So that's the best dupe I can offer you today. I'm sure you know this dupe.
I do. I know the brand very well. Yeah, we love it. We love it. I also like.
And if you have you also
La Roche-Posay do a good one. It's quite.
Yes, La Roche-Posay and Ceradermic.
And they do a good retinol, which is affordable vitamin B3. But I think, Trinny, we've run out of time.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Can I quickly do retinol?
Of course, yes. Everybody wants to know that.
Do consider, if you don't have in your routine, some retinol. And I think the retinol is a minefield. There are some new ones out there. Number 7 have a new retinol in there, which is a kind of very soft retinol. It's not going to damage your skin. If you want to go on a more adventurous journey, my favorite brand for retinols is probably Medic 8, because they have a sort of starter retinol, like at £40. This is the thing that's changed my life more than anything, apart from a medical retinol, which is called tretinoin. But what retinol does is it resurfaces your skin, and it does it like nothing else in your skincare routine. And I think, last thing I just want to say, Annabelle, on this is, it's never too late to start. I have women of 65 saying, can I start now? And I'm going, yes. 70. I have women who started wearing my makeup at 70 saying, is it too late? It's never, ever too late.
And in my experience, the women with the best skin are the ones who use a good retinol product. And at night, we should sort of say to start 2 to 3 times a week when you first start using it. But
and always do a moisturizer after, a barrier cream after. I use a peptide serum after, because I actually love that. And I'm very excited by where peptide's going, but that's another whole chat.
Right. We're going to bring our first winner. We have Dana, and she is 52, and she wants to know how to apply her foundation and concealer in a way that doesn't settle in the creases. So, Dana, are you there?
Well, is it Dana?
Or Dina?
Do we get her in? Do we ask to get her in? Or does she...
Good morning. Lovely to speak to you.
Hi, are you there?
Very lovely to speak. Oh, there you are. Fantastic.
We can't see you.
Very lovely to speak to you too. Oh, there you are. Fantastic.
Morning. Can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep.
I'm 52, Trinny, and I'm finding that all foundation and
Oh, there you are.
Dina, you're sideways, but my God, we can see you, so that's perfect. Darling,
I'm not sure if you can hear me or not, but I'm
you find
52,
all
Trinny, and I'm
foundation-
finding that all foundation and concealer products make the fine lines under my eyes appear actually worse than they are. So I was wondering if you could recommend to me the best products to use and how to apply them, as I'm clearly doing something wrong here.
I mean, this is just so tragic, but I'm going to have to say it because I spent probably, Dina, about 10 years feeling the frustration that you feel. And I always felt they were either too covering and drying or too heavy or not enough coverage. Or after a while, I just see creases in under my eyes. So I made one because I wanted an eye cream to have a baby with a concealer. And I made BFFI. And for me, the texture of it is the best texture. It's what I used, if you were watching the beginning, when I did my under eye. But I don't like the faff of an eye cream. So I just put ingredients you find in an eye cream like vitamin C and hyaluronics and peptides into a concealer. So I would go on to Trinny London and buy BFFI. I don't think there's anything like it on the market. And it will not crease. You can read all the reviews. Dina, you've frozen, darling.
Oh, Dina, can you hear us? Oh.
I hope you got that, Dina.
One of the things I do. Is she there? No, one of the things I do actually.
She might be. And Dina, I would say, Dina, you'd probably wear the shade called Mary.
Oh, lovely.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the things I do is pat rather than rub as well, which just sort of, you know, that kind of changed things for me. Quite a lot pressing it in. Okay.
I agree with you on that one, yes.
We lost Dina, but hopefully she got that last bit with her shade. Next we have Jane. Jane wants to know, she wants to see you do a little demo of contouring and highlighting. She wants to know which products go where, which is a common question we get asked.
Okay, all right. So I think contour and highlighting is quite scary.
Jane, should be there. Yeah.
I'm
here with my mum. My mum's 93 and I'm 62.
Hello,
we're
darlings.
fine, we're fine. And I would like to know about contouring because I'm always buying products. I put them on and my husband says, you've got a dirty mark on your cheek. So I go back to the bathroom and off it comes. So I'm never successful with contouring. So a little bit of tuition would be appreciated.
I will so give it to you. I think there's definitely, can I just say, you both look so glam. I know where you get your elegance from is your mother. I love her combination of wearing the sharp white top with the white hair and a slash of a lip.
She loves her pink lipstick.
Yeah, gorgeous. Fabulous. So I'm going to give your daughter a little lesson on contouring. So hear up, Mum, so you can nick her products and do it yourself, okay? I'm going to use my own because that's what I've got here. And I just want to say that when you choose the color, that is the most important thing. So if you feel, when I look at your skin, I think you wear probably your sort of what I would call
I spend a lot of time in the sun abroad. Yeah. So you want to go warmer rather than grayer, but you don't want to go as warm as a bronzer. It's slightly different from a bronzer. And although some people use a bronzer to do contouring, then it can make you look a little bit too orange, because for me, bronzer should go on the bits the sun hits, and contour is going on the shadow, which is generally where the sun doesn't hit. So if you put bronzer color underneath this area, that feels weird. Whereas if you were putting bronzer on to look like you've been in the sun, you'd probably put it on your bony bits, your nose, your forehead, it feels sun-kissed. So with highlighter as well,
I'm going to show you the little trick. So I'm going to take, to do a bronzer, I'm going to take a little bit, I'm sorry, to do contour, I'm going to take a little bit of bronzer and a little bit of our slightly grey looking contour, but I'm going to mix them together. And that color is my preferred color. So I get them in my finger, and you can do this. I do prefer cream-based contour because I think you have more control. And I think when we get a brush, that's when we can start to look like a motorway. So if you can find that, I'd say that's better. Now, generally, what you want to do, the trick to me, is you want to start in your hairline so you don't feel that you go, you know, start in the wrong place. You want to think you're doing a little J on your cheek. A lot of people keep going down the motorway, and then their contour is like by their mouth. And that's one of the things people can do. And the other one is you just want to think of where your eyebrows are and go down in a straight line, and don't bring the contour further than that point. Okay, so, you know, don't bring it further in. So think eyebrows, go down. That's the furthest contour is going to come. So this is where I'm going to put it.
Okay, so top of ear.
And so I start.
Top of ear towards.
Not the, it's, you know what, if I take my fingers now, do this everybody who's watching. So really, I think it's very important to know our face. So if you kind of feel at the, like I would say in this bit of your ear, and then feel that cheekbone and go under it slightly, just feel where that is. That's your cheekbone there. Okay, so really know that's your cheekbone, and contour should be causing a shadow under your cheekbone so they look more prominent. Yeah, so I'm going to take that color and I'm going to start in my hairline, but at that point, and I'm going to bring it down a little bit here, and I'm getting close now to my eyebrow, so I'm going to go up a bit. This is a little trick I learned. I'm not going to continue down, so it just sort of goes in and just slightly up like this. So the swoop isn't going down too far, and it lifts your cheek. So now I've lifted my cheek. The other little trick you can do, two other tricks here, is you can take your, I'm just trying to find, so if you feel that when you've done it, it's too low down here, then take a little bit of your foundation and just put it under so that it's not too low on your cheek, and it will just create a sort of sharper line.
Yeah.
Do you see? So it's only on that very small section, because if you use a big brush like this, it's so easy to make it too wide. And it's that tiny bit, and then that gives you that lovely
beautiful
there. Yeah. Now highlighter, I'm going to use one called Starlight. You know, highlighter for me should just be, you know, when somebody's taking a picture of you, darling, and they say, oh my God, that's the best light. That's what a highlighter should do. It should put your face in the best light. So if I take this little highlighter, it's sort of the color of my skin. So you're just going to see that reflection. You're not going to see a big mark. And that's, to me, it should give you that beautiful glow. And I usually take the highlighter and I just go above where I've put the contour like that. And then I blend it to meet the contour like that.
Yeah.
And as
Very
I
nice.
move my face, can you see? Like that. And another little trick I'm going to tell you about, and I only learned this just so it shows you old dogs can learn new tricks. I learned this a month ago from Ray Morris, this lovely Australian makeup artist I like, because some people put a highlighter above there on here. And what she said to me is, as we get older, this bit can become puffier on us. And some women have a habit that they put the highlighter like that as a line. But so much shimmer on this bit actually makes your overhang greater. So to lift your face, you really want a very thin, like you might do an eyebrow, you know, an eyebrow brush. And you're going to take the tiniest bit at the end And then you're going to go and just do like the smallest line right under your eyebrow. And not go onto the puffy bit. So it's sort of imperceptible. I don't know if you're going to see it here.
You can see, yeah.
But it just gives that lift there without over puffing our little extra friend. The curtain is coming down slowly. So those are my tricks.
That's
darling.
great. And we're going today for a picnic. I'm not sure the weather's going to stay with us. So the friends I'm meeting, socially distancing meeting, will be able to see my new contoured face as I'll go up and do that before we go off to grab some water.
Oh. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Have a wonderful day. Lovely to chat.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, darling. Bye-bye.
Oh, that was brilliant. I love that. I learned some stuff myself.
It's difficult to know if it shows up.
Yeah, we could see everything. Yeah. So we've got, we've got to move on because we've got Veronica next. She's got a question about, she works in a hospital and she's got a question about wearing a mask. Veronica, are you there? Veronica, can you hear us?
Veronica?
While we're waiting for Veronica, she works at Royal Hampshire County Hospital and wearing scrubs and masks most of the time. She wants to know how to make them eye makeup, but also the mask can be very harsh on her skin, which I think is a great point. And do you have tips for her?
I think anyone who has to wear a mask and they're all day in it, I think what's really important is to think of things that can be antibacterial to wear underneath, because there is this kind of, some people who never had spots suddenly are getting these rashes inside, and that's just because it's a kind of breathing ground for bacteria. So I love, hello, my dear, are you there?
She's not there. She can hear us, I believe, but we have a picture.
Can you hear us, darling?
No, she's obviously listening. So yeah, carry on.
Okay, that's fantastic. Lovely picture, by the way. You suit red a lot. Very good. So I would say that if you find products that have copper in them, it sounds odd, but copper is to me a very good antibacterial to wear underneath. And any products that have an ingredient called niacinamide, which is also quite antibacterial. There are a few with them, and they're generally given to people who have a few little spots. So underneath, I do think that really helps. Wearing a really lovely sort of barrier cream is good too, because you just, you know, if you don't suffer from any spots, just having that, you know, barrier cream or something you can put on afterwards that feels nourishing and healing. So I think that a really good hydrating moisturizer, it needn't have lots of actives in it, but something just to kind of soothe you. I would say again, Jane Shrivener has a lovely, it looks like this is a cleansing balm, but she has something called, and this is not it, overnight recovery. And it's just a very rich cream that just puts back in the moisture. It smells lovely. It's really healthy. And I love something like that, some overnight complex. So I would suggest that as a thing to do. And then when you're wearing a mask all day, you kind of just want to have a lovely eye. And I'm going to suggest that eyes, we always think of, well, I used to always think of that we would do a smoky eye and a nude lip, or we would do a bright lip and a clean eye. And I've kind of really got into recently a quite bright eye. Yeah. So I think if you're having to wear a mask, putting something on which just gives you that extra sparkle. I'm going to just do something with one I have called Courage, but it's just, you know, I can put this on, and to me, when you wear a slightly brighter eye, it's about the blending, and it's about putting the brightness where it shows up your eye, you know, in the inner part, and just giving that twinkle to your eye. So I think to experiment.
Oh, good morning.
Brighter color. Hello, darling.
It's classic. It's just all. I don't know, it just died, so I have to re-log in. Sorry.
Don't worry. Did you manage to hear anything
I'll be
I
honest,
said?
it was perfect timing.
Okay, so I'm going to really recap. I think, was your
Yeah,
question
so I'm the
about me
radiology
wearing a mask
manager at the
all
Royal
day?
Hampshire County Hospital, and my radiographers have to wear scrubs and masks most of the time. And obviously eyes, you know, would be nice to, you know, feel a bit pretty where we can. So it was just some advice for some nice eye makeup.
Okay, darling. Well, I would say, I had just been saying how we might be so used in the past to doing a bright lip and very clean eye, or a strong smoky eye and a nude lip. And I think there's a lovely in between. And I've got to say, I'm going to just, this is a good time to say, any woman at any age can wear shimmer eyeshadow. Because I think somewhere along the line, some beauty person said, oh, if you're over 50, you can never wear shimmer. Crap. Excuse my language. So I would really suggest finding lovely cream eye shades, which are also not going to drop, and get some little shimmer in your life. And it could be a very light shimmer. It could be you take something which just has a tiny bit. This is called Virtue. And you just put a little shimmer there. And when you put shimmer on, always put on the inner corner of your eye and on the bird's nest. Don't put under here. But it gives a little life to the eye, and it's fun. And you can go and look. I mean, if you go on Trinny London, you can see, you put in your skin, hair and eye, and we tell you which shades you suit. But you can go to any brand. I would get cream based and just get something. If you're cool toned, meaning you have sort of cool blonde hair and maybe you have a bright blue eye like yourself, you could go cooler shades. So you could go as mad as this, but I just think it brings joy, and I think makeup should bring joy to other people, but most importantly to yourself. So a thing I love to do, it's going to be a bit mad, but I'm going to show you, is I take something as crazy as silver, all right, just a tiny bit, and I'm going to take again like an eyebrow pencil, I mean an eyebrow brush like that, and I'm going to make like a little V like this on the inner part of my eye. So I'm going to go here to that little lash line and slightly out, and then the other side I'm going to go underneath a little bit and just have that little pop, a little pop of that shimmer. I don't know if you can catch it on camera.
Yeah, we can.
But it's a little pop. And if I'm doing that and I'm doing it for a warm skin tone or a warmer hair, I might take Virtue. So I'm going to take that one. And I'll do the same the other side. So I'm going on that inner bit, making a little line, going slightly further than my lash line. And then I go underneath and I bring that out. And I might go in that little, you know, when we sort of get older, we have that little dark bit in here, which can make us feel, funnily enough, quite tired. A lot of women say to me, I've got really bad dark circles, and I look, and they don't have them here so much, but in here it's very dark, and that makes us feel a bit tired. So I like this trick as well, just for bringing some light into that little corner. And it's a little thing, but if I have a mask on,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
you might
That's really
eyes a bit more. And so it's adding that little shimmer in the corner, not on the overhang, because we don't want to accentuate the overhang if we have one. If it's your team, a lot of your people in your hospital might be in their 20s and 30s, you know. So it's, but that's what I believe, is go for a little shimmer to bring some joy.
That's lovely.
To
Thank
yourself
you.
and other people.
Trinny, can you tell them? Can you? Thank you.
You're so welcome. Lovely to see you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Trinny, before we move on, can you tell everybody the first shade that you put on? What color that was?
I think I did put on Courage at one stage, which was that sort of lovely, you know, just adding the bit of brightness. That's from our new Mother Earth collection. And that's beautiful for that sort of warm toned. And then I put on Virtue, which was that really light, easy shade, one of our top selling shades. And it's sort of like a beautiful champagne-y, creamy shade. And then Silver, the Star, was our last one.
Okay. So we have one more winner. We have Susie. She wants to know about turning.
Hello, Susie.
Yes, she has a question about turning grey. Susie, are you there? We have a picture. Her picture.
So why don't we go over, Annabelle, what Susie's question was?
Okay, so she says she has embraced grey at the age of 50 and she wants to adjust her makeup, but she doesn't want to look washed out. So she needs something quick and easy for every day.
So I think the biggest things you have to think about when you embrace grey are if you used to wear fake tan or bronzer, it might suddenly clash. And what I think is really beautiful to consider when you're going grey is that you embrace blusher more than bronzer, because bronzer and grey together can just give that. It's like you wouldn't put them together when you're wearing colors, you know. So if you want to think, can you go back to your natural skin tone, even it out a bit, and consider really pretty like lip and cheek products, which are very quick, or a blusher. So for me, if I was, you know, a color I put on, I'm looking at you and you've got brown eyes, I think, and a kind of cool gray blonde hair. You've got, I'd say, peaches and tan skin. So I think for you, I'm going to suggest going a bit bold. Going a little bit bold. So you can either do, if you wanted to do a red, just going to show you red here, that, you know, go for the lovely sharp color and have something fun in it too. So when I do this look, really quick.
Do you put it on as well, Trinny?
Like that. What? And then I always take whatever's on, because we do a lot of lip and cheeks, but you can do this. This is not a lip and cheek product. And then I take that blusher and I just put it, I mean, I take the lip and I just put it as a blusher like that. And then what I do, there's hardly any left now on my finger, but I'll put the rest of it on my eye.
I do that all the time with my bronzer as well.
Because I want to, it's just bringing together a look, and it's so quick and easy to do, so that you have this sort of synergy. I know I've got a lot of different makeup on now, but you have a synergy where there's a complementary tone. So there was some old eye makeup I had on with that wash of the Valentina, very little bit on my cheek, and then on my lip.
I love that, using the same color, because it's like quite a modern way to do things as well, and pops really nicely against white or grey hair.
Yeah, and I think when you, I mean, I have to say that by doing Match to Me on Trinny London, you put in your skin, hair and eye color, and that's the way I've always defined how people should wear makeup. So there's a lot of brands that might say, if you have blue eyes, wear this makeup. And I just think it's so much more than that, especially relevant if a woman is turning and letting her natural grey going through. I think a lot of women during staying safely at home have made that decision, and they're loving it and they're embracing it. I think if some people are wanting to do it and there's a transition, you know, consider having a few sort of grey, you know, as you're growing it out, get some of the grey streaks put in by your hairdresser when they open again, so that there isn't a line. And, you know, just doing Match to Me, putting your skin, hair and eye, you will get the right tones, because it's, some people go a salt and pepper grey, and some people go a kind of dirty grey, and some people go like a platinum white grey. And depending on the difference between your grey and your skin tone and how much redness is in it, that all makes a difference as to like what tone of bright lip you should wear. Should it be cooler? Like, should it be like a sort of pillar box red if you wear a red, or should it be more like a tomato red? And those make a huge difference. So some ladies I know will put on a bright lip and think, oh, it doesn't suit me, but it's just the wrong shade. It's the wrong tone.
Yes, of course. Yeah, anybody can wear any color. They just need the right tone and texture for them, and also their personality.
Exactly. Like every woman can wear a red. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, well, that's all we've got time for today. Thank you, Trinny. I'm sure.
Well, it flew by.
So quick.
Thank you, everybody who joined in. It was wonderful and lovely. I do love. I started my life doing the Telegraph column for 7 years, and I have a.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. And
so it was. Thank you for asking me.
Okay, and if anybody's interested, some of the videos are going up on YouTube, dropping from Monday from Stella Live. So thanks, everyone. Thank you, Trinny. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.